General William Barr to investigate the origins of the Russia investigation. Let's bring in Congresswoman Liz Cheney, chair of the House Republican Conference and a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Good morning to you, Congresswoman. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Martha.
I want to start with what happened overnight. President Trump, of course, is in Japan, and he tweeted this: North Korea fired off some small weapons which disturbed some of my people and others, but not me. I have confidence that Chairman Kim will keep his promise to me, and also smiled when he called Swamp Man Joe Biden a low IQ individual, and worse, perhaps that's sending me a signal. He corrected in this tweet the spelling of Biden, which he misspelled in a previous tweet. What do you think about what the president said there about a murderous dictator?
You know, I think that what we have seen so far with this president with respect to North Korea is that he's doing the right thing in terms of the policy. North Korea has for years, through presidencies of Republicans and Democrats, gone through the exact same steps where they try to make false promises and they get concessions from the United States and they continue their program. What this president has done is say, we're not going to do that. We're going to require complete, verifiable, irreversible denuclearization.
Let's go to that tweet. Can we go back to that tweet?
And he's walked away from the table when the North Koreans wouldn't comply. So I would say you've got to judge based on actions. You've got to look where we are today. And where we are today is the president walked away. He was not willing to accept a phony deal, which too many of his predecessors have been.
And yet there's been zero significant progress in denuclearization, and we are almost at the 1 year mark. Could you respond to the tweet? Is that the right way to do things?
My view, Martha, is that we are doing the right thing in terms of the policy towards North Korea. And when you look at the situation President Trump inherited, whether you're talking about North Korea, whether you're talking about Iran, whether you're talking about the tremendous hole that the Obama administration dug with respect to our armed forces around the world, the president's doing the right thing. He's providing the resources our military needs to begin to make sure that we can defeat our enemies and our adversaries. He withdrew from the devastating Iranian nuclear accord. And with respect to the North Koreans, he has said, I will not accept a deal that is not a deal that helps advance this situation.
Let's talk about Iran announcing this week that they're sending 1,500 more U.S. military to the region. Is that the right move, or could that increase the possibility of miscalculation?
It is the right move. And when you look at what we've seen in terms of the threat level, what we've seen in terms of what the Iranians are now doing, and I want to be careful not to talk about classified material and information, but there's no question but that this threat, as Chairman Thornberry said, is not business as usual. And it's very important for the Iranians to understand that we'll do what's necessary to deter them from attacking us or our interests, and that we'll do what's necessary to make sure they understand we aren't going to simply sit back and allow them to take action that will put our people in harm's way. So I think the president's doing exactly the right thing, and I support the actions.
Pete Buttigieg is calling what he witnessed in Washington this week between President Trump and Nancy Pelosi a horror show. What's your reaction to this back and forth?
You know, what I see every day, I'm obviously in the House of Representatives, and what I see every day is a Speaker of the House who is increasingly losing her grip on the leadership of her conference. And I think you're seeing her being increasingly strident, you're seeing her lashing out, and you're looking at the Democrats who had put all their eggs in the basket of the Mueller report, hoping that it would provide them evidence they needed to move to impeachment. It didn't, but so now what they're doing is basically taking all of the oxygen out of the room, refusing to do any of the things we were elected to do, and instead continuing these attacks and partisan investigations, partisan issuance of subpoenas.
And the president attacks back. Is that the right thing to do?
Look, I think that, you know, what we have seen, if you look at
retweeting these videos that
I think what is really crucially important to remember here is that you had Strzok and Page, who were in charge of launching this investigation, and they were saying things like, we must stop this president. We need an insurance policy against this president. That, in my view, when you have people that are in the highest echelons of the law enforcement of this nation saying things like that, that sounds an awful lot like a coup, and it could well be treason. And I think that we need to know more. We need to know what was Jim Comey's role in all of this. These people reported to him. Andy McCabe reported to him. What was Comey's role in that? And that is what the Attorney General is going to be focused on.
Let me talk about this, because you saw what the president did with Attorney General Barr, that he said he could declassify all this intelligence. Do you worry that sources and methods might be revealed? Do you have any problems with him saying declassify this intelligence, even though he won't give the Mueller report and unredacted Mueller report to Congress?
Look, first of all, the Mueller report has been delivered to Congress, every single piece of it that could be within the law. The amount that's been redacted that's available for key officials in Congress to see, the amount that's been redacted is something like less than 2%. So it has been turned over. Secondly, I have complete confidence in Attorney General Barr in terms of this decision that he's going to make. And thirdly, as I said before, he has to have the ability to look at what happened. Think about what happened. Think about the fact that we had people that are at the highest levels of our law enforcement in this nation saying that they were going to stop a duly elected president of the United States, saying they needed an insurance policy against him. That is something that simply cannot happen. We have to have confidence in our law enforcement, and the Attorney General has got to get to the bottom of what happened, how it was that those people were allowed to misuse and abuse their power that way.
And I just want to very quickly ask you, we have about 10 seconds here, on the proposed pardons of service members who've been convicted or charged with war crimes.
You know, the president will have to make a decision on that. That is the president's decision to make completely, and we'll see what happens. Those cases are at different places in terms of the procedures that they need to go through with respect to the military justice system. But the president has absolute power to pardon, and I will watch and see how he exercises that.
Okay. Thanks very much for joining us,
Thanks, Martha.
We appreciate it. Stay with us. The Powerhouse Roundtable is up next.
At Comcast,